everyone. Welcome back to the channel, and I want to just say sorry for not being consistent online. Second thing, I want to ask sorry for my voice. Okay, so coming to the point, I know Inicet is around the corner, just 5 more days left, and this week will be of doubt. This week you will be confused what to do. So I thought of making this video. Yes, I did plan it to make it earlier, but due to time constraints I was not able to do. But yes, I just wanted to make, because so many of my juniors were trying to call me and approach me to know what to do in the last week. So I thought of let's give it let's make this video because that's what is needed at this time. So first thing I just want to say is keep revising the things which you have been reading throughout the month or throughout the year, because this time is not for changing. This time is not to go in FOMO and find out new things which are available in the form of PDFs online. Okay, read your notes, make the photographic memory. If you want to know what I had as a schedule, was I started my day 6 a.m. in the morning, read my 20th notebook, few questions which I used to get wrong, and then from 6 to 1 I use 6 or 7 or 8. From this time to 1 to 2 I try to read my RR, whatever the questions were left, and the next few hours were spent in reading the recall GTs of the year-wise questions if Inicet, which is there on the Mero app, reading their explanations in detail. And then I used to solve few questions, 10 to 20 questions if required, or 50 questions, and then ending the day with another of my 20th notebook. This I followed for last 15 days, and that is definitely the game changer, especially the Mero explanation part. The other thing is, I'll say, talk to your parents. At this time, I don't want any chaos in your life. Talk to good friends you have. Avoid social media, because I don't think so they provide anything more than stress. And the main point of this video is how to approach your exams and how to approach your Inicet. So there is a certain set of questions in the Inicet paper, as you guys know, and there is a time period and a time slot for everything. So you know the pattern of the Inicet. At least if you don't know, please be sure what is the pattern, because there is a difference between Inicet and NEET PG, not only in the sections but also the timings, and also about the marked question. Read your admit card properly. What are the instructions given? Definitely I'll be trying to make a video before your exam day, what to do in the last one day. Okay, so first of all, see how many sections are there. You know, there are 50 50 50 50, like 4 sections of 50 questions is 45 minutes for each section. What I this whole video is just how I approached it, and I'm not saying that this is the final, you should do it, you should look out your own methods, but this is what I did. So I know that every section is of 45 minutes. Being consistent with the same intensity of concentration for the 4 hours is going to be difficult. That has to be practiced in your GTs. So that I made sure. For the last section, what I did was I focused, like, for every section the questions were there. I made sure that I completed the set once I had seen all the questions in the 40 minutes. So I had 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes I spent for seeing the questions which I have already marked. I made sure I didn't mark the questions. One of the videos I saw on YouTube, and she told me that write down the questions which you want to revisit in your admit card. So I wrote down the questions which I had doubt that I want to revisit it. So instead of marking anything, I just wrote it down. So what I used to do is I used to complete all the questions, whichever I knew, of course, in the 40 minutes, and the last 5 minutes was to see which questions are left, which questions I can do, and which questions I can not do. So that's a strategy you have to follow, that every session should be completed in 40 minutes. Second thing is the mindset. You have to remember one thing, that the first set will be difficult. Most of the time it is difficult, and that is to break you out. So if you just panic in the first section, seeing the first 20 questions, you're gone. So that mindset, that yes, I'm going to be working in a stressful environment later in the PG, that should be there for the exams also, that how well you work in these stressful environments and whether you panic or not. What one strategy which I will like to tell you, that make sure for the first 10 minutes you should be completing the 10 questions. If you're not aware of the first question, skip it. Next and next. For the 10 questions, you have to get into the rhythm. Once you get into the rhythm, you will be able to solve the 45 questions in the 40 minutes. So moving the first 10 questions is very important. You have to be very like you should get into pace in the first 10 questions. That is the second thing. The third thing is, of course, I have already told that write down the questions on your admit card instead of marking it out, because there are certain rules in the Inicet that the mark questions will not be counted, right? If I'm right. So just check it out. Another thing which I wanted to say is the number of questions which should be solved. Remember, it should never be less than 190, because if you calculate, all the toppers always solve more than 195%. Even I, during both the attempts, I solved around 192 questions. So I just wanted to say, please don't solve less than 190. It's going to be very difficult then to get a good rank. And how to leave a question, then the question comes is how to leave a question. And I will just try to say is that, if you think, see, the approach of the questions you have to understand. If you know this question, you have read it, your mind says this is the answer, go for it. If it's an image based question, read the question carefully. And that's for all the questions. Read all the questions line by line, keep your arrows on the not and accept, because this is important. And mark, okay, I know you don't have pen, but use your arrows and the mouse which is there. And especially read all the lines, that is very important. Last line to first line is very important. Don't just go with the last line. Your speed should be good enough to read all the lines and then mark the answer. Which questions should be left then, because you just leave 10 questions, maximum 10 questions. And for that, for every set you have, I guess, 3 or 2 questions which you can leave. Which questions you should leave? The questions which you are completely unaware, which you have never heard, and which are numerical, like numeric, with numbers you cannot guess, like IPC 202 or 302, you don't know, completely leave that. But if there is a question which you think you have read somewhere that might be correlating, just go for it. Just go for it, don't leave that questions. And I think that is enough. The last one day I'll definitely make one video of how to approach in the last one day. I think this is more than enough. I know you guys don't have enough time. Please follow this, and yes, let's meet here. Bye.